Some stories have a way of cutting straight through the noise and getting right to the heart of what it means to be human. The Good Samaritan is one of those stories. It all starts with a simple, yet profound question posed to Jesus. What does it truly look like to love your neighbor? And in response, Jesus didn't give a lecture or a list of rules. He told a story that feels just as urgent and relevant today as it did 2,000 years ago. It goes like this. A man was traveling all by himself on a notoriously dangerous road, the kind of place you'd avoid if you had any other choice. And just as feared, he was attacked. Robbers ambushed him, stole everything he had, beat him brutally, and left him on the side of the road, clinging to life. Just try to picture that for a moment. A person, hurt, vulnerable, and completely alone, essentially invisible to the world that just kept moving on. Not long after, a priest happened to be walking down that very same road. Now, this is someone who, by all religious and social standards, should have been the first to stop. He was a man of God, a leader in his community. But when he saw the wounded man, he didn't just walk past. He physically crossed to the other side of the road to avoid him and kept going. Then another religious figure, a Levite, came along. He saw the man, too. The story even says he looked at him. He acknowledged the suffering, and yet he also passed by on the other side. You can almost imagine their thoughts. Maybe they were running late for an important appointment. Maybe they were afraid the robbers were still lurking nearby. Or maybe they just decided it wasn't their problem to solve. Their schedules, their safety, their comfort, all took priority over a stranger's life. But then someone completely unexpected appeared. A Samaritan. Now, you have to understand the context here. In that time, Samaritans and Jews did not get along. There was deep-seated tension, generations of distrust, and a thick wall of division between them. The unwritten rule was clear. People like us don't help people like them. It was a cultural and social chasm. Yet, when this Samaritan saw the Jewish man lying broken on the ground, something inside him shifted. He didn't see an enemy. He didn't see a label. He saw a fellow human being in desperate need. He didn't stop to ask who the man was, what he believed, or whether he somehow deserved help. The sight of pain was enough to move him to action. So, he got off his animal and knelt down in the dirt beside him. He gently cleaned the man's wounds with oil and wine, the best medicine he had. He bandaged him up. Then, he carefully lifted the man onto his own animal, forcing himself to walk, and took him to a nearby inn to recover. But his compassion didn't stop there. He stayed with him through the night, and the next day, he paid the innkeeper for the man's stay. He even said, "Look after him, and when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra expense you may have." No fanfare, no audience, no expectation of reward. Just pure, unselfish compassion. This story is so much more than a simple tale about being nice. It's a powerful challenge. It's about intentionally crossing the lines we draw between ourselves, the social lines, the cultural lines, the political lines, even the emotional walls we build, and choosing our shared humanity over our own convenience. In a world that can often feel so cold, so divided, and so incredibly rushed, the story of the Good Samaritan is a timeless reminder that compassion is still one of the most powerful forces on earth. It teaches us that helping someone who can't possibly repay you is one of the clearest and most beautiful pictures of love in action. And it shows us that sometimes the people who make the biggest difference in the world are the very ones no one expects. True kindness isn't complicated. It doesn't require a grand plan or a special title. It starts with simply choosing to see the people around, who's really see them manned, then making the choice to care. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content that explores the deeper side of life. See you next time.